The craziest plot twist of 2025 is that Clash Royale is more popular than it's ever been. Even going back to 2016 and 2017, which is the golden age of the game, it's even more popular than it was back then. Back in April, I made a video called Clash Royale Cannot Be Saved, and it's safe to say that that video has aged like milk, but at the same time, I'm not complaining either. So in this video, I want to talk about 3 main reasons why I believe the game has had a massive resurgence. And then there's still one complaint that I have with Clash Royale that I want to talk about, and it's a pretty big problem if you ask me. Don't forget to use code SolarFury, and let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is what I like to call the content creator effect. There has just been so much content being put out around the game recently, and that is definitely a major factor as to why the game is popular again. And what better place to start than with Jinxie? The amount of good he has done for the game is absolutely out of this world. Being one of the largest streamers in the world, his influence is incredibly impactful, and when he started streaming the game and posting videos on it, it resonated throughout the entire community. Now, there were other times, like in 2022, when other really big streamers started playing the game, like IShowSpeed and XQC, but with Jinxie, there were some differences here. The main ones being is that Jinxie is actually involved with the community, and he's also a really good player as well. Jinxie has done so many collabs with a bunch of content creators, of course with Ken and Riley being the 2 most prominent, and it has led to some very entertaining content overall, I do have to say. And again, he's actually good at the game as well. He has multiple wins in the 20-win challenge, and he has a finish in Ultimate Champion that is almost top 1,000. And that is better than like 99.5% of the people that have ever touched this game. I don't care what anyone says. He is a genuinely good player. I mean, for me, I've only ever gotten 13 wins in the 20-win challenge. That's my maximum. And I've only hit Ultimate Champion 3 times during my 9 years of playing the game. So Jinxie is a much better player than me, and he is a much better player than most of you watching this video. You heard me right. So overall, his entertainment value combined with his skill and his interactions with the community is definitely one of the largest reasons as to why Clash Royale is popular again. But of course, it's not just Jinxie though. There are tons of other Clash Royale content creators that have been putting out some amazing content, so I gotta give some shout outs to them. Of course, we gotta start with Ken. Recently just hit 1 million subscribers, posts daily, entertaining as heck. And along with Jinxie, they are the 2 largest Clash Royale creators right now. Then of course we have Ian and Riley, who are 2 of the best players in the entire game and also post basically daily with some incredibly high skill gameplay. We got Juicy J, who is one of the best streamers and once again, an incredibly good player. We got a bunch of OGs that are still putting out content like Orange Juice, we got B-Rad, we got Sir Tag, we got Inshane, and they're all still posting at incredibly high levels. I mean, OJ still basically posts the game daily. I mean, he's been so consistent for so long. It's absolutely insane. Then we got some new stars in the community. We got Invader, we got Mr. Clash Royale, we got Arcto, we got SK, we got the Big Yaz, we got Alt, we got Vlax, we got Who's Shaggy, and there's so many more that I could mention. But there are just so many good Clash Royale content creators right now. If you are watching this video and you are a Clash Royale content creator, then I gotta give big props to you because you are actively contributing to the success of this game. In general, I think a good way to gauge the health of a game is how active the community is on social media. And it's safe to say that the Clash Royale community across all platforms, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, it is probably the most active it has ever been. So the next major point that I want to talk about is definitely going to be controversial, but I just want y'all to hear me out. And that is the fact that the game has actually had relatively good updates over the course of 2025. Now keep in mind, I said relatively good. These updates haven't been absolutely insane or anything like that, but they've been much better than what we've had over the past 2 years. So first up, at the end of March, we had the update where they removed the season shop, removed chests, added the boss bandit, and did a bunch of other stuff like that, such as adjusting pathfinding for troops. So at first, I did not like this update at all, and most of the community had the exact same reaction, which at the time it was a valid reaction. Having progression taken away in the form of the season shop and having one of the most iconic things in Clash Royale history get removed, like chests, that's definitely going to stir some feathers. However, most of these rewards have been redistributed in a pretty solid manner, and honestly now, many months later, I don't really miss the season shop that much. To get season tokens, you had to play specific game modes that were limited and you could only play those game modes. However, now with these kind of milestone events that they do, which still give you evolution shards, give you lucky drops and cards, you can play the game in pretty much any way you want as long as you're still earning crowns. It makes these rewards much more accessible and basically gives players complete freedom of how they want to get their progression. So this update was initially received as, oh no, they're removing our progression, but ultimately it just got redistributed into different places, so it just all ended up being fine. Kind of. Then the next update came over the summer, which was pretty big, where we got an entire new game mode, a rework to Ladder and Path of Legends, and the Spirit Empress. So of course this new game mode is Merge Tactics, and I honestly think it is Clash Royale's best attempt at adding a new way to play the game. It is a game that I do genuinely enjoy, and I believe that it is one of the better auto battlers that I've ever played, but it is still not Clash Mini. I will say that. What I like is that it gives players a different Clash experience for those who want it, but also if you don't enjoy it and don't want to play it, then it's not something that you have to do. Most of the progression that you get from Merge Tactics is cosmetic based, so it's not really tied to the actual progression of your card levels, which is nice, and it also gives you some cosmetics for when you do play Merge Tactics, which is really cool. And then also with the addition of Merge Tactics, it's the first time in Clash Royale that we've gotten full-blown 3D models of troops, which is really cool. Now this may not seem like a lot, but I feel like it really opens a lot of new opportunities, especially when looking at skins for troops. With this new technology, I could definitely see troop skins coming in a future update. Heck, they're already actually in the Chinese version of the game. So I think it's really only a matter of time before we get them in the global version of the game. Is Merge Tactics perfect? No, not at all. It absolutely has its flaws. But do I enjoy it? Yes, absolutely. Then of course there was also the rework to Ranked and Ladder, which for me at least was unexpected, but a welcome addition nonetheless. I would say that the new Ranked mode compared to the old system of the Path of Legends definitely does feel more competitive in a sense, mainly because there is that threshold and you have to reach that in order to be able to push the Ultimate Champion. So it does make it a little bit more exclusive, but ultimately the top players are going to remain the top players. Like, that's not a problem for them at all. Like, you're not going to see Muhammad Light not reach top 10 in the world. Like, that's going to happen. But the rework to Ladder, I think this is really cool. I think this is actually my favorite part of the update. From a pure cosmetic perspective, I love having seasonal arenas because I love playing in different environments and different places. I know that's a really small thing, but with the old system, when you hit 9,000 trophies, you were just in Legendary Arena, and that's just kind of how it was. And then also more arenas adds more extension to the trophy road, which means more progression along the trophy road. So I will never complain about getting more progression that way. I think my favorite part about it though is that this actually has a reset every single season. I think the biggest problem with the old trophy road was that once you hit 9,000 trophies, you were at 9,000 trophies and there was no going up or going down or anything like that. But with the new seasonal arenas, you reset every single month. So that gives you something extra to strive for on a monthly basis rather than just rank. When I hit 9,000 trophies on my own accounts, I would pretty much only play Path of Legends exclusively after that. But now I have incentive to play both because there are still two different ladders that I can push up and get progression on both as well, which is really great. Then of course, on top of all that, there's the Spirit Empress, who is probably one of the coolest cards that the game has ever seen. The ability to have two different modes between 6 and 3 elixir is almost like having two cards in one, which is really, really cool. And even though she isn't the best card in the game right now, I think in ranked, she has like a 1 or 2% usage rate, which is not that great. But I still love her. She's cool, and that's what matters. And then that brings us to the most recent October update, in which we got chests back, kind of. We also got seasonal chests, which are cool. And then we got a bunch of new Merge Tactics content on top of that as well. So when looking at lucky chests, even though they're basically just reskinned lucky drops, I know that a lot of people did miss having chests. So I feel like this is a decent compromise. It provides the aesthetic of chests being back in the game, while also still having that kind of upgrade element of lucky drops. So I think it's a decent compromise, all things considered. Then there's the seasonal lucky chests, and while they aren't the greatest things in the world in terms of the rewards they provide, it is more progression on top of your regular lucky chests. So again, I'm not gonna complain about that. It's more opportunities for evolution shards, emotes, other cards, banners, and emotes. Yeah, I'm absolutely going to take that. And then of course they are different every single season, which again builds intrigue on a month-to-month basis. And on top of all of the other things I've talked about that change on month to month, that builds more intrigue and incentivizes players to keep playing. Then of course we got new merge tactics content, we got new troops to use, we got new modifiers, we got new skins, all very welcome additions. Then on top of all of that update content, we got a bunch of new cards and evolutions on top of that as well. For the new cards, we got the Rune Giant, which was technically added in January. We got everyone's favorite, the Berserker. We got the Boss Bandit. We got the Spirit Empress. We got the Furnace, which is basically a new card. And then we also got Vines as well, a new spell. And so all of this together results in a bunch of new content over the course of 2025 so far, and all of it being really solid additions. Now again, are any of these updates totally insane or totally out of this world? No, absolutely not. But they are solid. And that kind of solid update cadence is what Clash Royale has needed for years. So for these three major updates combined, I would give them about a 7.5 out of 10, which is above average and good, but again, nothing too crazy. If you've been following Clash Royale for the past couple of years, especially when looking at 2023, then you will know that this is a exponential improvement. So hopefully my take that these updates are good isn't too hot of a take, but if you do disagree with me, then please let me know why in the comments. So for this next point that I want to cover, this may seem like a stretch, but I just want y'all to hear me out. But I genuinely do believe that the downfall of Brawl Stars has actively contributed to the success of Clash Royale. So for those of you that don't play Brawl Stars or don't keep up with the game, let me give you some context. So going all the way back to 2024, it was a massive year for Brawl Stars. It was by far Supercell's top game in terms of player count and especially in terms of revenue. They were consistently getting over $50 million a month. And during that time, I was seeing a lot of people on social media saying that they were actually quitting Clash Royale and playing Brawl Stars because it was a more fun game. Heck, even during that time period, I was playing more Brawl Stars than I was Clash Royale. I was playing Brawl Stars pretty much consistently every day, and I was playing Clash Royale every day, but I was really only playing Clash when I was working on content. I wasn't playing it just for my own enjoyment. But then fast forwarding to 2025, Brawl Stars has had a lot of lackluster updates where they have relied heavily on temporary content in the game and reworking or removing features that didn't really need to be, and that has kind of led to a steady decline over the course of the year. And with people getting disinterested in Brawl Stars, I've been seeing a lot of those people in turn coming back over to Clash Royale. So let's go ahead and look at this graph right here. This is on Google Trends. We are comparing Clash Royale and Brawl Stars over the United States in the past 12 months in terms of search interest, and you can see there is a staggering difference. Again, going back here to 2024, Brawl Stars was at a peak, and then from there it just kind of started steadily declining, and then kind of around May they intersect. Brawl Stars keeps declining and Clash Royale goes on the rise big time. Now, if you've ever done any scientific research, then a key rule of thumb is that correlation does not always equal causation, okay? However, looking at that graph, I find it to be fairly interesting to look at and just a point worth noting. So maybe I'm crazy, I don't know, I probably am, but I think that's part of the reason why Clash Royale has started to go up a bit. So now I want to talk about my one biggest complaint that I still have with the game, and it is the ever-present problem of balancing. Once again, let's look at all of the new cards that have been released in the game this year. We got Rune Giant, we got Berserker, we got Boss Bandit, we got Furnace, we got Spirit Empress, and we got Vines. All of these cards were released extremely broken or extremely underwhelming, with hardly any middle ground. The Spirit Empress was released relatively balanced, I guess you could say, but apart from that, the other cards just unreal. Rune Giant sucked, and then they buffed it to make it one of the best cards in the game. Berserker sucked, but then it got some buffs, became one of the better cards in the game. Furnace and Vines were like two of the best cards in Clash Royale history, like genuinely. And then of course Boss Bandit as well. Who can forget Boss Bandit being incredibly busted? And it's not just cards as well. We got some evolutions to talk about. We got the Lumberjack, we got the Inferno Dragon, the Furnace evolution yet again, and the Evolved Witch. And that's just to name a few. That's just 4 of them. Yeah, why were they released that strong? I don't know, but they never should have been released that strong. Now, I actually think I do know why these cards are released to be incredibly broken, and that's so that Supercell can make more money. When a card is super broken after release, or even like a month after release, People are going to spend money in order to get that card and get it leveled up because they want to play it, they want to try out new decks with it, and they want to win games easily, right? So then after a couple months have passed, Supercell will then go ahead and balance that card and make it more mellowed in the meta, or even just completely kill it like they did with Rune Giant after they buffed it. I mean, who plays Rune Giant anymore? From a business perspective, I understand it. You gotta make more money. But as a consumer, I don't like it. I feel like I'm being baited almost. There has to be some sort of balance here. This has been a problem in the game like ever since it came out. Like there has to be some sort of balance in terms of how we balance things. Like I have no problem with releasing cards and having them be good. I think new cards should be good and exciting so that way people want to try them out. But there's a difference between being good and being the best card in Clash Royale history, which is what the Furnace basically was. There is a very not fine line, a very thick line actually, that needs to not be crossed. But yeah, that's honestly my one major complaint with the game. As a whole, I think the game has been doing great, as is the whole point of this video. But yeah, I still just had to get that off my chest. Balancing has not been the greatest. And with Clash Royale doing really well, it has been a very exciting thing to see. As a content creator who has stuck with the game through the dark ages, even going back to 2020 and then 2023 and most of 2024, it's nice to see the game get rejuvenated and to see the community engaging with the game again. But yeah, I was there for the original golden age of Clash Royale through 2016 and 2017. I was a day one player of the game. Clash Royale released right after I had turned 13 years old, and now I am Unk status at 22 years old. So to see the game kind of reach those heights again, it kind of brings me back to the times when I was in middle school and like makes me reflect on how good of a year 2016 was. It makes me feel nostalgic, makes me feel good. I love seeing the game doing good again. It's awesome. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. Be sure to subscribe if you are not already. Use code SolarFury as I said at the beginning of the video. Be sure to leave a comment on what you think about my thoughts about Clash Royale. And yeah, I will see you all in the next video.